What is up, Glory Gang? Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Boys podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Austin.
And I am D-Money McGyver.
D-Money McGyver. That's Darren.
Yep.
And today we're going to talk about mentorship.
Ooh.
We've talked about mentorship in the past in the sense of be careful who you allow into your circle and who you let speak into you.
Yes.
But today we're going to dive into finding yourself a business mentor.
Yeah.
Our journey in doing that, some of the potential mishaps in that, and how we're experiencing a ton of value through having a mentor right now.
Yep. But before we dive in to this week's episode, let's
roll that intro.
All right. So we've always wanted a business daddy. Just kidding. My wife hates that word daddy.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It's cringe.
It's a bad word.
It's for sure cringe.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We have always desired somebody to help walk this journey with us. You know, like you and I both, I mean, you were working sales.
Yep.
And you were mostly playing like COD online during your sales.
Sure.
Like, not really, you know, working up the corporate ladder.
Nope.
You were just kind of skipping by, just doing the thing.
Yeah, I sucked at being an employee.
I'm not trying to downplay.
No.
You just were definitely.
I was a very bad employee. You don't have to downplay it. It's all right.
And I actually had been working for multiple companies when I first moved to Omaha, you know, over almost 7 years ago now. And
that's a long time.
It is a long time for, you know, living somewhere. But I was under a lot of terrible leadership and people that owned businesses or ran businesses, and I didn't really have a great mentor in any of the business spheres. I've had great mentors in my life to help me, you know, with like life coaching and how to do life and how to make great decisions, and how to better my life, because I used to be a hot freaking mess. I mean, I was like on drugs and alcohol and ran to a lot of stupid stuff, and I was always broke. My bank accounts were always negative. And so thank God I had a couple really awesome people that believed in me, saw something and pulled it out of me. I think that's what we're really going to talk about in this podcast, is finding somebody that sees the best in you and pulls it out. And so when we started this company together, we had a lot of really great people that were in our circle. We had planted a church together with a team of really awesome people here in Omaha that we had met. That's how me and Austin met. He was serving coffee and I was just carrying around a camera, shooting content for the social media pages to grow the church. And we worked on a project together, and here we are over 4 years later, working together, growing, building a team. Now we're a team of 5 people, as some of you know. And so now we have a film production company. We've been crushing it and loving it and growing, and it's been hard and challenging. And that's what all this podcast is about, is just really helping you guys see some of the struggles that we've gone through, some of the wins and successes, and helping you guys grow and level up your businesses. And so today we're talking about really the type of mentors that we've almost had, some that we've shied away from, where we would seek or look to a potential mentor and ask another mentor, and they'd be like, no way, dude, don't do that. We've almost made really bad mistakes, and we're going to dive into some of those because we want to help protect you guys. As a creative, as a filmmaker specifically, or a photographer, you add a lot of value. If you're even sort of kind of good, people are going to look to you and take advantage of you if they can. And so hopefully we can give you guys some handles on how to protect yourself and make sure that you aren't taken for granted or advantage of, and that you really don't do things for free for people that don't really deserve it, honestly, or sell yourself short, or sell your company for $15,000, which we will get into. So Austin, what are some of the people that we looked to early on, you and I, who were like in our circle that we were looking to, getting advice from, how to really build a business, how to grow it, expand it? Who were some of those people?
Yeah, so because there wasn't anyone in our circle locally that did specifically what we did, that we saw as a mentor. A lot of our mentors early on were pastors, pastor friends, people that knew us well enough.
Yeah.
But also that I think there's a lot of key components for choosing a mentor or finding someone who's a mentor for you. You can't just go and approach anyone.
Yes.
And we've talked about that before.
Yep.
Where you really have to protect the people and the circle of people that you allow into your life. And I think a big component of that is the fruit that you see in their life.
Yes.
Yes. In the area that you're seeking mentorship in.
Say it again.
Do they have fruit in that area of their life?
It's good.
And so if you're going to someone for a business or financial decision, that person should have some fruit in their finances. They don't have to necessarily, like our first, person that we went to for advice, they weren't a business owner.
Yeah.
But I've seen fruit in their life and their finances. They're good stewards of them. They're generous. They are a lot of the qualities that I want to become.
Yep.
And so therefore their opinion on that subject is valid. And also I just think, wisdom is another big one. Like, do you feel like they've had the life experience to be able to give you their perspective?
Yeah.
And it not take you off path. And so, there's a lot of things that go into picking a good leader or a good mentor.
Yep.
But early on, the people in our life that had those qualities, a lot of times were our pastors and friends who are pastors or in leadership.
Yeah.
A lot of the times within our church. And then as we grew, there was a point where I remember us kind of having to shift, and now we need to find a mentor that's outside of our church.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we're not just, a company that started from within the church that's in their pastor's basement. Now we're a fully fledged company. And so now we need to kind of look to a different level for mentorship, I guess.
Yeah. I think you just sparked something in my mind when you said that, but I think it's okay to outgrow mentors. I think there is a time and a place for people in your life that will speak life, that will be praying for you, that will be championing. They're in your corner and they're super like life-giving and whatever. And that's all great. But I think it's okay that you outgrow people in your life. And there are just things that have happened in our lives where we would be going to somebody for advice, and there was just one day where it just didn't click anymore, where I didn't leave the meeting feeling inspired and super pumped to grow and continue to move forward. It was like, that didn't feel like us. And that's okay, because that shows that, hey, like that person was there and we're grateful for the time that we had with them, but it just was time to part ways because he or she was thinking one way and we were thinking and moving another direction. And because they weren't in the day-to-day, they didn't see what we were up to in growing our company and the vision we had. They just had the advice and the stuff that we had brought to them. And there just started to become a disconnect. And that's okay. But I do believe having somebody in your corner at all times is super crucial. And so we had to move on to something new, not bigger or better, but just something different and fresh.
Yeah, there can be the other side of that too, where if you know someone too well, or they're too close to you, they may start to make their recommendations based off of what they actually want.
Yeah.
And so, you just have to be careful with mentorship. You have to be on guard.
Yeah.
And when you start to feel like maybe they either don't have your best intentions in mind, or they don't see your vision, or you've really stepped out of a level where they're not really ahead of you. A mentor doesn't need to be 10 steps ahead of you. They just need to be one step ahead of you.
Right.
But if you're at a point where you feel like you're not leaving those conversations encouraged and energized and feeling like somebody's behind you fully with no strings attached, then use your discernment, and it's probably time to maybe find a different mentor.
Yeah.
And there's been times in our life even where we've had to make a forceful disconnect and completely remove ourselves from a mentorship relationship, because it got to that point where we almost felt like it just wasn't what was best for us.
Yeah.
And we've had people approach us and offer to mentor us. One in particular that we've kind of been dancing around is this guy. He came and he basically wanted to give us $15,000 for a large percentage of our company. But his offer was that he would mentor us. He would teach us, the ways of business and help us make money and all of this stuff. But again, I didn't see the fruit in his life. It was kind of hidden and really kind of weird.
Yucky.
And we just felt weird about it.
Yeah.
And we sought counsel with somebody that we felt like had wisdom, and he helped us just identify the red flags and really
let's back up
saved us from that.
So there's a great principle that I've lived by this experience. Like because of this, I have carried this with me. So we went to our friend and asked him his advice. He doesn't know much about the business. He's kind of removed, but he's just a good dude. And he's a lot older than us, a lot wiser, has been through a lot more life. And so we sat down with him. We're like, hey, we've been approached to purchase a large percentage of our company for $15,000. Get this, that is nothing now compared to, praise God, to the invoices we send. Like that amount of money now, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
it would be comical now. But at the time,
at the time,
I think $15,000 is a lot of money. We had just started.
We had no money.
And
we wanted new gear, like all that stuff. But here's the thing. We sat down with our mentor and he wanted to, he just asked like, what was the offer? Share with me how he presented. And I remember sitting in this office in this random business park building. And the guy was like, here's the thing. I'm a money guy. I'm like, I can grow companies. I have this company, really showing what he's done, what he's accomplished. And I'm like, all that's cool. But he's like, I need an answer from you. Here's a written up agreement, $15,000. I pretty much own you essentially. And, but you're going to have work for forever. And, I'll connect you with all these people. And, it seemed a little enticing because we didn't really have a big client list and all of that.
Right.
So our mentor goes, okay. So we went through that. That's great. Not the best offer in the world. Right off the bat was a red flag. Then, because he saw that this guy was devaluing us. Then the guy said, hey, you have 24 hours or 48 hours?
Yeah, it was a really short time
24
frame.
or 48 hours to give me an answer and sign the paper. If we do not, the deal is off. So for me, I felt a pressure. I was like, dude, what are we going to do? Should we do it? And like, I don't know, like this is stressful, whatever. So thank God we met with our friend, because in that he goes, anything or anyone that has a timestamp that tight to make that big of a decision is not somebody that you ever want to work with. And so for me, if there's anything that we come up against in our company now, and it's a tight, you have to make a decision right now, it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's just not for me. Because I think every big or any just decision that affects our families, our company, our employees, we need a good amount of time to think about it, to pray about it, to seek good counsel from friends and family or whoever, our mentors. And that was like, just like he saved us from such a terrible decision. And I'm so grateful. And I just live by that now, that anything that's, life altering, like if the person that's giving you advice doesn't give you time, like, dude, peace out.
Yeah.
Like, get out of my life.
Yeah, there's no decision that big that should need to be made that quickly.
Yep.
For sure. So can you have more than one mentor?
Yes, but I think you can get too many opinions, especially when you're in the developing stage. Just think about it as like you're a big ball of clay and you're being molded and shifted. You don't want everyone's hands trying to mold and shift you. One, because you're trying to be who you are and develop as a leader and a business owner and whatever. And if you're having too many conflicting thoughts and ideas and ways that your business should go, it's going to be really confusing and you're just going to be really stressed out. I know that I've been, I have a lot of great people in my life, but I've gotten to a place now I only share with certain things and go only certain depths with certain people. And so that was my long answer, but my short answer is no, you shouldn't have a lot of mentors.
Yeah. I think that what we've done is we almost have different mentors for different areas.
Sure. That's good. Yeah, that's good.
I think something we can dive in on is we had mentors from the very beginning that were people for us to bounce big decisions off of for spiritual discernment.
Yeah.
Ultimately is what it is. Hey, we're thinking about making this big move.
Yeah.
Can you be thinking about this with us and praying for us about this, that we would have clarity in making this decision? But what we lacked for a really long time, and where we'll get to towards the end of this episode, is mentorship on the technical aspect of filmmaking. That's something that's been extremely difficult for us to get. We've figured everything out on our own, learned everything through YouTube.
Yeah.
There's not a booming film industry in Omaha with famous directors we can go and shadow with. And so it's been a journey trying to find somebody who can teach us to go to the next level in our technical skill.
Yes.
But we have mentors for, our lead pastor. Like, I would consider him a mentor for those big decisions because
Yeah.
he's a business owner. He has fruit with his family and his boundaries and priorities as well as his business. So I would consider him a mentor in that area. Whereas, you know, we have a different mentor for the technical. We have a different mentor that I would consider, you know, that helps us with taking next steps and connections and, you know, things that we can't do in our own, just because we haven't been around that long. You know, we're just doing a lot of this stuff for the first time.
Yeah.
And so, I think we have one person for each of those areas.
Yeah.
though.
I think what I think of is like, if I'm in the gym, you know, I'm not going to hire my guy that trades my stocks for me to teach me how to lift.
Right.
I'm not going to have my trainer, you know, it's just like you use their expertise in those certain areas to, I guess, grow yourself and well-round yourself. But the thing that I was going to say that you just made me remember is that some of those big decisions that we were to make and we would go to these mentors, honestly, if you're married, your wife is the best
100%
version of discernment of good intent. Like they think and see way different than you and way better. And honestly, we've just utilized our amazing wives to allow us to think through and chew through some of those big decisions. I'll have a big idea or a big thought or something will be approached, and I'll just discuss it quickly with Mariah, my wife. And it is so evident that if it's a thing that I should pursue or not.
Yeah.
And I've grown where I'm not so proud and excited about this idea that when she's like, hey babe, that's not good. Like that's actually gonna burn you, or that's not. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. And so I take her words very seriously in some of the big decisions I have to make as a leader because she is way smarter than me.
Yeah, same. Yeah. And it honestly helps too with when you make the decision. If both of our wives aren't on board, one person's feeling a little weird about it, like we don't do it.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that, all the decisions that we've made, all the big decisions, everyone has been 100% at peace about.
Yeah.
Unanimous decision. And that means that we get to go and not have to, you don't have to tiptoe around it.
Yep.
Then you know, okay, this is the right move to make.
Yeah.
We'll full send it now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Unity is really important in a partnership. And I mean, you're my business husband. We have our awesome wives. We got to all agree on things, and it's been awesome. So you touched on some of the specific areas, right? So you did ask me if we should have multiple mentors. My initial answer was no, but if they're in their own lanes, like, you know, a financial mentor is important. Like what should I do with my money?
Yeah.
What should I do with retirement? Like, again, I'm not going to have my trainer tell me how to do that unless he does financial stuff on the side. That's a different story. But having different people in the different spheres, I think that's super crucial. So what have we done, and what approach have we been taking? Is there anything else leading up to now that we need to talk about?
I mean, we've tried for years to get on set with people. I mean, we went so far as to say, hey, if you just tell us when and where, like we'll book the tickets, we'll fly out there, we'll shoot, we'll give you BTS, like we'll do it for free, whatever.
Yeah.
Literally, because that's how much we value that on-set experience.
Yeah.
I really believe, you know, we could probably spend the next 10 years trying to figure it out, but learning from the best of the best in the industry is going to help us to get to that level way faster.
Yeah.
And so that was something, again, that I felt like we lacked for a long time, was that technical mentor. And, you know, you can learn a lot of things on YouTube, but once you get to a certain level, there's really not a lot on YouTube that I'm able to learn from these days.
Yep.
Because the people who are doing it best, really, really best out in LA, like in the film industry, crushing it.
Yeah.
They're typically not sharing a ton.
Yeah. They're just busy.
And it's usually promotional stuff so that they can grow their influence. And I get that.
Or you can
it's
buy
usually
their
reels
course.
or buy their bundles, buy their course, buy their product, whatever. There's very little free content out there that actually is a good look inside a film set that I've found. If you have something, definitely shoot me a link.
Yeah.
But so that's been something we've been working on. We have, like I said, we've DM'd people, try to get on set. And it always just, there was kind of promises and then it all fell through and it never really worked out. And then I would say another, you know, person that we really wanted to seek mentorship from, and I would say learned a lot from, is Ryan Coral.
Yeah.
And obviously we're on his podcast and he has a really great podcast, and
Yeah.
obviously you kind of found him. So if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, the Grow Your Video podcast. It's exactly that. Grow your video business. They talk about everything from financials to, there's a podcast episode about everything in the business. And I think what my favorite thing about it is Ryan Coral's like a super likable guy. He puts his family first. He runs a 7-figure business. He has a studio. He has, multiple employees. There's just like this time and place where Austin and I both wanted to level up and grow. And, you look to people that are doing it. And so he was just one of those guys I came across, and I listened to tons of his podcasts, and we reached out to him, and we were blessed to be on his podcast, and we got to talk about, having a partnership and how that works, and talking about our studio and our new space. And it was really fun. And I think the value that he adds is just incredible. And so obviously you can find podcasts, you can read books, and all of that stuff is very crucial. I would say always do that. There's so much great content out there that you can just consume. So definitely do that. But for us, I think we looked to him, like listening to his podcast, like he was mentoring us. And then there is opportunities, obviously, to some of these guys, actually, you can pay them to mentor you, like an hourly Zoom call, and you just pay a flat fee. And so because of like us growing and wanting more, we came across another guy in the film industry that we've been watching his work for years, and it is incredible. And this is another guy, and he's just so good. And we're like, man, it's just like one of those things where it seems so out of reach to get to where he's at. But because we desired to get to that place, like, what else will we do other than to reach out and ask? And so we reached out, and I guess you can kind of walk through the journey of how that happened.
I think one important thing, because we're now diving into actually paying consulting, which is a little bit different than mentorship, but it's similar. There is a lot of value when you're able to take the time with someone in a one-on-one setting to actually understand their specific business. So I think that has been the most helpful aspect of it, is we're not just learning general principles that we can apply to our business, although that is necessary and helpful. But it's just more specific, because that our mentor is able to get to know our business and our specific goals. And then from his expertise of being at a very high echelon in the industry, is able to help us based on that, instead of it being kind of catch-all advice. So I think that's been really great. And again, we've been doing it, once a week or once every couple weeks for the last few weeks, or for the last couple months.
So the thing with that was, we had been looking for a mentor for so many years. We've been bouncing around, learning so much and growing so much, but there was a piece missing of the film industry. Nobody that we were talking to knew the film industry. So we needed stepping blocks to get our production to level up. How do you storyboard? How do you write a treatment? How do you get on set with, these big commercial deals where the budget's $2 million? Like, how do you even start that process? Well, we reached out to a guy that started just like us in a company just like us and got to that place. And so now we're paying a little extra money out of pocket in order to get and pay for some of those stepping stones, which I think is super crucial. If you can't afford that, that's okay. There's plenty of free content, like I said, but we're just to a point in our business where, like, we've kind of figured out the financials. We've kind of figured out the running the day-to-day. We've kind of figured out some of the beginner stuff, and we feel really good, but our production level could definitely get better. And so, we bought some new gear. We're still wanting to buy some new gear, upgrading our computers, and some things like that can help the process, help the production level and value. But there's some other stepping stones that, like, you just can't learn unless you've done it. And so we've come to a place like, hey, this makes sense. Let's pay this guy and let's level up. And it's been so amazing. It's like opened our minds to this thing. Like, it's just, it's encouraging to talk to somebody that's so successful in the industry and be like, yeah, you guys are on the right path, and super encouraging, and saying, hey, you guys, like, with this like tool that I just gave you, you guys will level up your production. You guys will close more clients. You guys will do more and work with bigger budgets. And it's super encouraging. I think it's super crucial. So if you're in a place like that, definitely reach out to somebody that you love and that you've been following, because we've been watching him since the beginning of our company and watching his work just explode. And now he's directing, and his day rate, is like around $20,000 and working with $1 million budgets, and it's just millions of dollars of budget. And so it's super intimidating, but it's also really exhilarating, because I think Austin and I both I can speak for you too, is that as we're learning, we get more excited. If we feel stuck and comfy in our little bubble, we both kind of just get dull.
Yeah.
And we need to continuously be growing and learning and looking to new things and looking to new gear and working with other people. And so, yeah, we're excited for this new journey, because it's going to be big.
So if you don't have a mentor, I challenge you to find one
Yes.
that you can trust, that has your best interest in mind,
Yep.
that doesn't have anything to gain by telling you one way or another.
Yep.
And make that your mission. And if somebody says no, or if you get ghosted, don't worry. It's happened to us
A lot.
It'll happen again. Don't be discouraged. Keep reaching out, keep building relationships, and you'll find a mentor. And again, it's okay to have a mentor for each, kind of area of your life. But again, just make sure that they have fruit in that area of their life that you're trying to get advice from them on.
We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions about mentorship or finding that person that would be super helpful to be connected with and walk through this journey with you, hit us up, or just DM the people that you really look up to. There's tons of people on social media, on YouTube, and honestly, we've been connected with some really cool people because we've just stepped out and said, hey, we love what you're doing. Can you help us understand how you got there? And there's a lot of people that will be willing to sit down with you. And sometimes you may have to pay a little bit to get their time. Their time is valuable, and they've been doing this for a long time. And so it won't be a waste of your money. So get people in your world, go get a mentor or many in all the areas that we talked about, and you will watch your business grow. Guaranteed.
There you have it. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're on
Yeah.
YouTube, if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating. We always love hearing your feedback.
Yep.
And let us know if there's a topic that you would like us to cover. If you have questions, you can email us at hello@gloryvisuals.com. But until next time, we love you guys. Peace out.
See you guys.